Hi everyone, Julia Watts here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and another technique using the new stencils from Sentimentally Yours. It could be any stencil, but it's part of a series of short videos giving you reminders of techniques that have been around for a very long time. So on my craft sheet here I've got an A5 piece of super smooth watercolour card from Sentimentally Yours, and also the new Extravaganza 6x6 stencil, and you'll find everything I'm using available on my website juliawattscrafts.co.uk for shipping to UK addresses, and you'll also find them over on Phil's website, which is Honeypot Crafts. So to begin with, we're going to lay down some colour. I've already done one piece because we're going to do two kind of different looking techniques, I suppose, with this. So first of all, this is Carved Pumpkin Distress Oxide. You can also use Distress Ink. So I'm just getting loads of colour down. I'm not bothered, you know, whether it's super smooth or anything. I'm just getting some colour onto my piece of card. You want a really good coverage, nice and deep colours. If your ink pad's dry, re-ink it, and you do need a nice juicy ink pad to get loads of colour down. Let's have another bit of the Carved Pumpkin here. So I'm not really thinking about it, I'm just getting that colour on. That's our Carved Pumpkin. Lid on, and then we're going to go for, put that somewhere where it's not going to make a mess. Then we're going to go for Fired Brick. Crackling Campfire would work really well actually with this, with the tones, or any of the reds. We're going for an autumnal feel here. That's a kitchen roll. So when you're holding it over ink, best to use a piece of kitchen roll so you don't get dirty fingers, but also so that your fingers don't make an impression in the ink. This one's a bit drier because it's an older ink pad, but we're still getting loads of colour on our piece of card. And I'm using a Woodware blending tool and one of the sponges that either comes with it, or you've got replacement sponges that you can get. And I tend to keep mine in a plastic bag with the name on, so they're good to go whenever I want to use them. So that's some red and some orange on there. Let's have a bit more depth up there. I can see that's a little bit light. That's our Fired Brick. And then my plastic bag. Then we're going to be using a little bit of Vintage Photo around the edges. And the original colours, the early colours. I'm not bothered about picking up some of the colour on the craft sheet because Vintage Photo is the darker. We're just going to give it a tinge around the edges. You can get the shape tools from Mama Makes. You could use a sponge if you wanted to. I think you get quicker coverage. We definitely get quicker coverage if you're using a sponge rather than a brush. Let's just give that a bit more. Just don't be scared of it, just go for it. If you overthink it, that's when it's going to look a mess. Okay, so there's my colour laid down. To one side and clean up my mess. Obviously you can pick this up. I'm not going to on this occasion just because I want to get on and show you the technique. Okay. Right, so we've now got two pieces here, slightly different but with the same depth of colour in them. Let's go to the first one I did and bring in our stencil. This is the Extravaganza 6x6. There is a coordinating DL as well. So let's pop it up here for now. What we're going to do is we're going to take some water and we're going to mist. I am going to just, let's see. I'm going to see if I can cover this up here so that we don't get loads of water down here, and then I can extend the design a little bit down there if I want to. Let's give it a mist. And remember, Distress ink is reactive to water, and so it will bleach some of the colour out. So we just give it a second or two to settle in. I can lift the stencil, however, take it off, and you can see where the water has pooled a little bit in the middle, and I can see it bleaching out quite nicely actually. I know you can't see a lot in the camera, you can mainly see in that centre area, which is obviously where I've got more water, but it is actually bleaching out really nicely. So I'm just going to move that. Obviously we're going to have a line from the stencil down here, but you can work around that. Let's just put that to one side and let it do its magic. And bring this in. We can pop that in the gap with the water. And remember, there's water on the front, so we can turn it over and we can pop that down on our other background. And we get a fresh piece of kitchen roll and give it a good old press. This is where the ink has seeped through. On the other side, so we're giving it a press, and what we're doing is we're getting a print of the negative, which has got water on it, onto our background. And we lift that away now. And so we can see that we've started to get that lovely bleach look on our background. I'm just wiping the ink off of my stencil. And it's, how do I move my ink pads? It's a good job I put my lid on my ink pads, that's all I can say. What am I like? Yeah, don't mist around your ink pads because you get water in them. But the lids are on, so we're good, we're good, we're good. Let's bring the original one in. So you can see where that's bleached out now. It's showing up more on the red areas, which is interesting. So if you want to extend it, you can just pop the stencil down the bottom. And you'll be wanting to mask that area off there. So let's grab another piece of scrap card. So that we don't interfere with what we've got going on already. And we give this a mist. Push that away. That. And you can, the reason I've done that is because then I can do, I don't know, sentiments or a banner or or a strip if I want to with that, but there's no point wasting that bit of background. It's starting to bleach already, look. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Let's bring in our other piece and we'll stamp with our misted piece. We don't need to mask this off. And just take the wettest area and pop that down here. I could have popped it over that, mind you, I get a line there. Ignore that. I was going to say I could extend it because the pattern kind of duplicates there or repeats. Let's just press that down there. So this is ghosting, what we're doing now. think it's called, I'm sure it's called ghosting. Let me peel that away. And we've obviously got water on there, and that's gonna bleach that away. Isn't that cool? Great kind of vintage style background, great for your tags. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found that useful. Let's bring in the other one as well, so you've got the two to see, opposites. So like I say, I hope you've enjoyed that. Do like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and check out the many other videos that there are on there. As I said, this is part of a series of background techniques using stencils, and you can find all the products, as I said, over on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. Thank you for watching.